I don't want to depend on someone who hasn't even gotten married by age 30. I was surprised when the woman who was going to be my sister-in-law first spoke to me. My brother, with a nasty smile, told me, "Sis, just go home. Don't forget to leave your gift." They both laughed at me, which made me feel a mix of anger and disappointment towards my brother. Then my brother said something that made me even angrier. "It doesn't really matter if we get your gift or not. All our relatives love me, and they will probably give us a lot of money. Mom likes me more than you, so she might even give me all her property." He made it sound like he was just using our family for money. I never thought my brother could be so awful. I realized I had been foolish to care about them after not seeing them for a long time. My brother hasn't changed. If anything, he's gotten worse. I couldn't take it anymore, so I left the waiting room while they laughed together. My name is Emma, and I'm 32 years old. I work for a foreign cosmetics company. After I graduated from college, I worked for another company, but I got lucky and was recruited by my current job. My coworkers are ambitious, and we work hard every day, which motivates me. Now, I'm the head of my department. Since I started here, I've felt valued, and I enjoy my work. There are challenges, but overcoming them brings me satisfaction that I can't find anywhere else. Before college, I often felt trapped and didn't think about having fun. I have a younger brother named Nate, who is 5 years younger than me. Ever since he was born, our mom has been completely focused on him. She loves him so much that I started to feel less important to her. When I was a child, I felt lonely because I didn't get much attention from her. Even though my dad and relatives tried to care for me, I missed my mom's affection. Nate was the first boy born into our family in a long time, and he got spoiled easily. Soon, our relatives paid more attention to him and ignored me. I have a strong sense of justice and dislike wrongdoing, which made it hard for me to connect with my relatives. The worst part was Nate's personality. Because he was pampered by our mom and relatives, he became a person who always needed to be the center of attention and knew how to act to get it. You could say he was good at getting what he wanted in life. I don't want to depend on someone who hasn't even married by age 30. I was shocked by the first words from the woman who was supposed to be my sister-in-law. My brother, grinning in a mean way, said, "Sis, just go home already. Don't forget to leave your gift." They both laughed at me, and I felt a deep anger towards my brother. Then my brother said something that made me even angrier. "It doesn't really matter if we have your gift or not. All our relatives love me and will probably give us a lot of money. Mom likes me more than you, so she might even give me all her property." He made it sound like he was just using our family for money. I never thought my brother could be so awful. I realized I had been foolish to care about them after not seeing them for a long time. My brother hasn't changed at all. If anything, he has become worse. I couldn't take it anymore, so I left the waiting room while they continued to laugh. My name is Emma. I'm 32 years old and work for a foreign cosmetics company. After college, I worked at another company, but I was fortunate enough to be recruited by my current job. The people I work with are ambitious, and we work hard every day, which motivates me. I'm now the head of my department. Since I started here, I've felt valued, and every day has been enjoyable. Of course, I sometimes struggle with my work, but overcoming those challenges gives me a sense of accomplishment that I can't find anywhere else. Before college, I didn't often think about having fun. My younger brother, Nate, is 5 years younger than me. Ever since Nate was born, our mom has devoted herself to him. She loves him so much that I started to feel unimportant to her. As a child, I felt lonely because I didn't get much attention from her. The more my dad and relatives tried to care for me, the more I missed my mom. Nate was the first boy in our family in a long time, and he got spoiled easily. Soon, our relatives stopped caring about me and only focused on him. I have a strong sense of justice and dislike wrongdoing, which made it hard for me to connect with my relatives. The worst part was Nate's personality. Because he was pampered by our mom and relatives, he always needed to be the center of attention. He knew exactly how to act to get that attention. You could say he was good at getting what he wanted in life. "I think you must feel worse than I do," Ava said while gently stroking my head. I hadn't been comforted like that in a long time, and it made me feel both happy and embarrassed for showing my weakness. Our family has strong ties. You know, Nate is a bit sly, or maybe he just knows how to win people over. He has that kind of personality, right? Everyone gets easily fooled by him. Really, Aunt Ava, you think that about Nate too? I was surprised to hear that someone in the family saw my brother that way. Aunt Ava winked at me and said, "Don't forget, I'm watching you. Emma, if you want, I can talk to everyone about it." "No, that's okay. Just knowing you're watching me makes me happy." "All right, I understand, but if you ever want to talk, I'm here for you. I started looking forward to seeing my aunt at family gatherings. Even though I've moved away, I still keep in touch with her regularly. The only other contact I have is the occasional email from my father, giving me updates. Since I rarely go home, I don't know much about my family and relatives. So, I was shocked to hear from my father that Nate is getting married. Right now, I don't have a partner, and one by one, my friends are getting married. Even my coworkers are rushing into marriage. So when I heard the unexpected news about my younger brother's wedding, I felt a little anxious. Although I'm not unhappy with my life, this news brought me down. Then Nate contacted me, adding to my frustration. Wow, long time no see. I'm getting married, and my fiancée is already pregnant. Don't worry about not being married and showing our parents a grandchild. I've got that covered. But in return, could you give us at least $10,000 as a gift? It includes the cost of giving birth. Kids are expensive, you know. My excitement for celebrating Nate's wedding dropped to zero because of his sense of entitlement. I even thought about skipping the wedding, but then I reminded myself that this was a once-in-a-lifetime family event, so I decided to accept Nate's request. On the wedding day, after the ceremony, we were taken to a family waiting room to prepare for the reception. It had been a long time since I'd seen my mom and relatives. Of course, the conversation was all about Nate. I tried to accept this since it was his big day, but old memories kept coming back to me. The gloomy, cloudy sky seemed like it would rain at any moment, and my mood got darker. That's when my dad started talking to me. "Emma, it's been a while. How's work?" my dad asked. "Oh, Dad, I'm getting by somehow," I replied. "I see. Would you consider coming home more often?" he asked. I didn't feel like it. "Yeah, I'll come back when work calms down. I need to go to the restroom now," I said, leaving the family waiting room quickly. I thought I had changed a bit, but I realized that others don't change easily. I felt uncomfortable around my relatives. Letting out a big sigh, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Nate. "Come to the bride and groom's waiting room right now." What did he want at a time like this? I headed over, wondering what he needed. As soon as I arrived, Nate asked, "Did you bring it?" At first, I didn't understand, but then I saw the nasty looks from him and his wife. "Yeah, I brought the $10,000 gift. Are you satisfied now? Congratulations on your wedding," I said reluctantly, even though I didn't really mean it, but I regretted being considerate. "Only $10,000? I clearly said to give more than that. Isn't it common courtesy to give more than what was asked?" "You're as clueless as ever, sis. Wait a minute. Isn't $10,000 already generous? I gave it because you said the baby was coming. Isn't your attitude a bit much? If you want to act like this, I don't want to be involved with you in the future," I snapped back. Nate exaggeratedly clicked his tongue, which annoyed me even more. Despite giving them the $10,000 they asked for, they were still complaining. I glared at my brother, and his wife, who stood next to him, laughed at me with her hand on her hip. "Don't worry, we don't plan on relying on someone who's still unmarried in her 30s and acting all high and mighty for such a small amount of money." I was shocked by the words from the woman who was supposed to be my sister-in-law. Nate wore a malicious grin and said, "Yeah, just take your gift and leave. Make sure you leave the gift money." They both laughed at me, and I felt a strong hatred for my brother and his wife. But then Nate said something that made me lose that feeling. "Well, even without your gift, we'll be fine. All our relatives love me, and I'm sure they'll give us a lot of money. Mom likes me more than you two. She might even give me her entire fortune." "That makes it sound like you're just using them for money," I replied. "Well, it's true. That's why we invited more relatives and fewer friends." I couldn't believe my brother could be such a terrible person. I was shocked that Nate and his wife found it funny that he viewed our relatives and even our mother that way. I felt stupid for worrying about them. I was disgusted by my brother, who hadn't changed since childhood and had only gotten worse. Unable to bear it any longer, I left the bride and groom's waiting room while they continued to laugh. "Emma," I heard someone call my name as I left. It was my Aunt Ava. Seeing her made me let my feelings show. "Auntie, I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving." My aunt was angry. "I heard what just happened. This is unforgivable. Everyone should know about it." But it's true that everyone likes Nate, right? If I say something, I'm sure no one will believe me. It's not like he's forcing our relatives to give him money, so I just have to put up with it. Fine, I probably won't see them again anyway, I thought. My aunt had been worried about me looking uncomfortable in the relatives' waiting room and had followed me after hearing my conversation with Nate and his wife. She suggested telling everyone what was happening, but after seeing them laughing and looking down on our family, I had given up. But my aunt was filled with anger. You don't have to put up with it anymore, Emma. I never thought Nate would go this far. There's still time. Let's confront them together and reveal everything. If anyone still supports Nate after that, then they can be his source of money or whatever else they want. Encouraged by my aunt's words, I decided to face the situation and return to the family room with her. Surprisingly, my Uncle John believed my story right away. Actually, there have been some bad rumors about Nate at the company. I didn't want to damage my nephew's reputation. I thought it was natural for businesses to have some rough times, but after hearing Emma's story, it all makes sense. I guess I was only considered valuable as long as I was paying him. Uncle John runs a company, and Nate works there. It seems Nate has been taking advantage of his position as the president's nephew, doing whatever he pleases because Uncle John is the company's president. When Uncle John acknowledged my story, everyone started to believe me one by one. There's no way Nate could be like that. My mother, who had been adamant until then, gradually began to grow suspicious, not only because of me but also because of my aunt talking about Nate. My mother, who had been asked for hundreds of thousands of dollars for wedding and childbirth expenses, started to have doubts and eventually accepted our story. My father, who seemed to believe me from the beginning, was radiating with anger. At that moment, when all the relatives finally listened to me and my aunt, my father spoke up. I'm sorry for our son. We must have raised him wrong. Let's all go home today. He doesn't deserve to be celebrated. With those words from my father, my mother and all the relatives decided not to attend the wedding reception. My parents hurriedly left the family room to explain the situation to the other guests. As we waited at the shuttle bus stop, the people who were supposed to attend the wedding started to arrive. In the crowd, I spotted my parents, and my father gave me a strong nod when he saw me. I was sure all the guests had decided not to attend. I wanted to thank my father for believing in me, but as I got closer, I heard him yelling into his cell phone, "Who would celebrate someone like you who repays kindness with malice?" The person on the other end must have been Nate. It was the first time I had seen my father so openly angry. I heard him say to Nate, "It seems you've been calling our family and relatives a bunch of gold diggers. How could you say that after all they've done for you? We have no intention of celebrating you anymore. We're going home today." After hanging up, my father apologized to me for everything I had gone through. As soon as we got on the bus, Nate called me, "Emma, Aunt Ava turned everyone against us and spread rumors. Now nobody is at the venue." I calmly responded, but Nate was panicking and raising his voice. "Your Aunt Ava heard you guys making fun of the family. She joined the conversation, so everyone believed us. Can you stop saying I spread rumors? I just told the truth. What are you going to do about it?" "I don't know. We're already on the bus." "Don't say that. Are all of them on the bus too? If so, please convince them to come back with you." At first, Nate sounded confident, but now his voice was shaky, realizing how bad the situation was. But I didn't feel like forgiving him at all. "You just want the gift money, don't you?" "That's not my intention," he replied. "Either way, we're not coming back. Goodbye. I'll cut ties with you after this." Wait. I heard my brother's desperate voice, but I hung up without caring. After that, cell phones started ringing one after another on the bus. It must have been my brother and his wife calling, but no one answered. They had seen their family and relatives as cash cows, and in the end, my brother and his wife couldn't get any gift money from the attendees. Not just from me, but from our parents and relatives too. They seemed to have planned to pay for the wedding with the gift money and ended up in a lot of debt. Not only me, but our parents and relatives also received calls for help, but no one was willing to help Nate anymore. On top of that, they lost contact with a few friends they had invited. The punishment for my brother was far from over. Our uncle fired Nate, probably because he couldn't defend someone with a bad reputation who had been performing poorly. His wife had already quit her job for marriage, and even though they were in debt and she was pregnant, she didn't want to work. In the end, they had no money and were constantly fighting, leading to a divorce before the baby was born. After giving birth, his wife tried to make money working at night, but her bad personality held her back, and she could barely pay off their debts. My brother couldn't find another job and kept borrowing more money to pay off his debts. He tried to come home for help several times, but our parents rejected him. On the other hand, I had started going back to my parents' house more often since Nate's wedding. I attended family gatherings and didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. Because of that, I felt more at peace and could see things from a broader perspective. I became more flexible in dealing with work problems, and my colleagues, subordinates, and bosses praised the change in my attitude. Just the other day, a salesperson from a company we've been dealing with invited me to dinner, and I felt a little excited about these signs of a fresh start.